I don't just see it as an accusation. It's a concern for me. If the Cam Newton situation hadn't been straightened out before the vote, I wouldn't have voted for him. If Johnny Manziel's situation hadn't been straightened out before the vote, I wouldn't have voted for him. Everybody's saying, well, you're innocent until proven guilty. And yes, that's the legal standard. But Florida State itself would suspend him just if he's charged with a felony. And for me, with the Heisman vote, when I look at the vote, I don't see how somebody can't. Now, I'm not going to let the Heisman vote set my moral compass. Okay, if they disagree with this, if they think that voters shouldn't think that way, that's fine. I'll give up my vote today. It's not that important to me. I think that this is important enough of an issue to take a stand on this, and until there's resolution, in my mind, I can't vote for it.
Okay, just to be specific before you respond. You disagree with me because you have concern in the context of voting for him for the Heisman Trophy. Okay. Because I'm not a Heisman voter. Okay. I'm just doing big picture concern level that I remain where I was earlier today. He went for me from being a person of interest, from what we heard at first, to the person of interest, the accused. That's all I know for sure at this point.
Yes. I appreciate you saying you disagree with me because it gives me an opportunity for clarification. I was not trying to say that Jameis Winston, in light of this being there, now you should come out and speak. What I'm saying is, from day one, the second this was brought to your attention, you should have spoken up. The fact that you've been silent this long, your conspicuous silence has added fodder and has added, I don't want to say credence because, again, we don't have the evidence, but it's elevated the level of suspicion. And one of the reasons, one of the several reasons I came to that conclusion, Robert, was alluding to what you said as it pertained to the Heisman. In other words, the fact that you haven't heard from this man, you're not voting for him because the accusation is out there and your silence is so conspicuous, it's giving me cause to pause. And all I'm saying is if it's giving you cause to pause as a Heisman Trophy voter, why would that be the case? Because you don't know. Right. And if you don't know, that means anything's possible. And if anything's possible, that's a cause for concern, which is why I'm concerned, because I don't get to sit there and surmise. Oh, please, this is nonsense. It's frivolous. Move out the way with this. You're innocent. Because you have been so silent. And now that we've heard from the Tallahassee Police Department allegedly is involved, that they approached the accuser and dissuaded them from pursuing this matter. Not only the accuser itself, but the lawyer. Think about how profound that is, y'all. You didn't go to some young lady who accused him of this and say, you better not. Oh, no. You went to somebody who is an adult
an attorney.
And an attorney
Almost
and said that. So if you did that, then what would embolden a, listen, this is logic, y'all, logic. What would embolden a police officer to think you could roll up on a lawyer and tell the lawyer not to delve further, which brings me, in terms of questions, which brings Florida State. Because if you're the police officer, you have no muscle over an attorney. But if you have the institution watching your back, it can embolden you. Well, again, we don't know. But just like you have questions as a Heisman voter, I have questions as just a mere citizen out here looking at things and connecting the dots and saying, yeah, this is a little bit strange because this is the kind of stuff that doesn't happen. Well, and that's what I'm saying. That's all I meant by that.
But the logic, when you talk about logic, it makes complete sense to me now that the DNA evidence has come out and we've learned a little bit more. Remember last week we were talking the 5'9" to 5'11", thinking that he may have been involved. It made sense to me if he wasn't involved at all or if he didn't have knowledge to make some sort of statement through his lawyer. Understanding what we do now, it makes perfect sense for him not to talk legally. It doesn't make any sense for him to come out now.
Not now.
This is not,
I agree with you now.
And let's be very clear here. The Heisman Trophy is not the most important thing in Jameis Winston's mind or his attorney's mind or Florida State's mind right now. Legally, they're trying to protect him, and it makes sense for him to be quiet.
Very last point. I said this to Skip. It's fair to bring this up to you. And again, we're just talking about it based on the stuff that's been reported. If you have DNA evidence, then either something consensual or something non-consensual went on. If you know that, okay? Because you know they have your DNA evidence. They have DNA evidence. DNA evidence. What is wrong? Not now, because I understand now. But back then, what are you talking about? They're consensual, and that's it.
Okay.
The fact that you didn't do that.
I know where you're going.
It just raises eyebrows. Yeah. And that's all I'm saying.
Go ahead, Skip.
Okay, I think you're speaking for Stephen A. Smith here, because I know you would have spoken up. You would have ignored your lawyer and spoken up because of where you came from, the neighborhood you came from. You'd say, this is who I am. I'm fighting back.
You're not wrong. You're right. But I swear to you, even though you're right, that is something I would do. I'm just giving you what I get from a bevy of people. I mean, I know a lot of people in this world, and you hear people say, there are some that would take your position. There are some that obviously understand totally where you're coming from. But I'm just saying, instinctually, I had a consensual experience with somebody. If you know they have your DNA, then ultimately that's how you address it. If you're innocent.
Well, they didn't at that point.
Okay.
First of all, and it's so easy for us to sit here at these desks and to sit on TV and on radio and say it should be so easy to come out and make this statement and to make this denial, or conversely, we should say that, or we say, yeah, it's so easy to make this accusation.
Okay.
But it's not easy for either person. These are real people. These are young people. It's a very difficult situation. I hope for resolution. And this is just me talking about the Heisman now, because and I want to be clear. Once again, I know that that's not the most important thing. I hope that there's resolution before the Heisman vote, but as it stands right now, until I hear that they have interviewed him, that they've interviewed the accuser again, and they've decided not to press charges, I'm not voting for him.